What's going on, everybody? It's Sacred Eagle, and today I'm going to be grading the Eagles in their offseason because, well, the Eagles have really covered almost every single aspect that they needed to cover. There's not much else that they have to do. We'll see what they do from here on out. We're almost in June. Think about it. It's May 16th. We're halfway through May. June is just around the corner. That means summer's right around the corner. That means OTAs. That means preseason. Football's almost back. And with that being said, it's kind of important that we grade how the Eagles have fared going into this part of the offseason where we're really going to get into, rookie camp, OTAs, practices, getting back into the groove, seeing bits and pieces of what could happen offensively and defensively when we get on the field September 10th at Washington. So, in all seriousness, the offseason that the Eagles have had has been a really interesting and intriguing one at best because we've done a lot of moves, especially on the offensive side. We started off with a bang, getting Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith on the same exact day, like hours apart, adding more depth to our very, very not-so-potent wide receiver core. That consisted of Jordan Matthews, Nelson Aguilar, Dorial Green-Beckham, Paul Turner, and Bryce Treggs. That was last season. Adding those two makes this roster, this team offensively, a much bigger threat, and it instantly skyrocketed the Eagles a little bit up to more of a contender-like team going into the offseason. Just at first glance, because everything could go wrong. We don't know what's going to happen, but looking at it as of right here, right now, the Eagles look like an actual contender for the playoffs, maybe even a bigger threat in the playoffs, depending on what happens, depending on how the other teams do and everything. We do not know exactly how good other teams are going to be. Green Bay might not even go 10-6, might not even make the playoffs. Seattle, they could flop. Who knows what could happen? These are just what-ifs, I know. But that's what the NFL is all about, especially in the offseason. And this is just my own interpretation of how the Eagles have fared and, at first glance, what they look like. And offensively, especially in April, or March rather, when we did, in fact, get Torrey Smith and Alshon Jeffrey, the Eagles went up a lot, in my personal opinion. Getting those two added so much more depth and much bigger threats to other defensive units that we're going up against. And now that we know the schedule, it makes it all even better. We get to visit Chicago again, or Chicago comes to us, rather, or whatever. I don't even remember, but we play Chicago again. We play the LA Rams, the LA Chargers. We play a lot of good teams that would make a lot of good, fun games to watch in this season. And with what we've gotten in the free agency and the draft, the Eagles look like a really interesting team to watch. The draft really, it kind of exceeded my expectations a little bit. The only downside of it was the running back area because we got Donnell Pumphrey, which, not exactly what any of us really wanted at running back. We wanted a Dalvin Cook, Joe Mixon kind of guy. But in the end, hey, the Eagles made up for it by getting LeGarrette Blount today, which really solidifies the entire offense. The offense right now would most likely consist of, this is my personal opinion, it would consist of Carson Wentz at running back, Carson Wentz at quarterback, LeGarrette Blount, Darren Sproles, and Wendell Smallwood at running back, Ryan Matthews gone, and Corey Clement would be like a number 4 kind of guy, maybe special teams, along with Donnell Pumphrey. We'll see how that goes out. We have a lot of depth at running back now that we have LeGarrette Blount. We have Corey Clement, who's most likely going to make the roster, and then we have Donnell Pumphrey, who came in the 5th round, 4th round. They'll most likely be on the special teams side of the field. Wide receiver-wise, we got Shelton Gibson, Matt Collins, 2 really speedy-like guys. I'm pretty sure Matt Collins is the one that's really good over the shoulder, catching the football, while Shelton Gibson is more of the speedy kind of guy who you would imagine getting down the field quick and making all the catches that you would hope he would make. Put that along with Jordan Matthews returning to the slot, Alshon Jeffrey just being a threat all around, and Torrey Smith, and whoever else we have, Nelson Aguilar, DGB, Paul Turner, whoever it may be, makes up a really interesting and really threatening wide receiver core that I cannot wait to see get some action in preseason, and then, I just can't wait for week 1. It's going to be a really fun season. Offensive line basically stay the same. Chance, Warmack. I mean, we got a lot of depth there, so I'm not too worried at offensive line. Jason Kelce, we could trade him. We can't. Whatever happens with Jason Kelce, I'm fine with it. You know, we're not going to go after Mark Ingram anymore. That's a known fact. So he might stay, but we should definitely look into more centers. Maybe in next year's draft, maybe in the free agency, maybe as the season goes on. This year, before the trade deadline, week 6 this year, maybe we actually manage to get a center to take over for Jason Kelce, give us more of a center that we need for our system that's actually bigger, who can actually stand his ground. Sure, Jason Kelce is quick and he's pretty good at blocking. We need somebody that can actually go up against really good defensive tackles and defensive ends and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens with Jason Kelce. I'm still keeping my eye on him, but I don't really see him going anywhere maybe until week 6, until the trade deadline, where we really want to actually get somebody that can come right in and play for us and be a much more, and give us a bigger impact and be a much more bigger improvement over Jason Kelce. Defensively, we didn't really go anywhere. We did upgrade after losing Benny Logan. After losing Benny Logan, we really did upgrade and get Timmy Jernigan, who is really looking to prove himself and, you know, make a name for himself here in Philly, which I cannot wait to see. Derek Barnett, he is, you know, he broke Reggie White's sack record at Tennessee, so that's really interesting to see. I can't wait to see him come out and play. Chris Long, you know, there's going to be a rotation for sure, along with him and Long, Barnett and Long, so it's going to be cool to see. Brandon Graham, nothing's going on with him, so I can't say much about him. You know, he cleared up the fake news that I talked about last week. Fletcher Cox, you know, teaming up with Timmy Jernigan should really make a scary front four. The linebackers basically stay the same. We still have Michael Kendricks, Bradham, and Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks being one of the best middle linebackers in the league right now. He was the best in coverage. Quarterbacks had a tough time going against him when he dropped back in coverage, so it's really good to have him here. I just hit something, and I apologize if you heard that. It's really good to have him here. He can really be a vocal leader in our team, along with Malcolm Jenkins. Our safeties stayed the same. Our corners, there was an upgrade, but Sidney Jones is injured, so we got to figure out what we're going to do there. Rasul Douglas, he could easily come in, maybe take on the number 1 or 2 role, or 3 role, that is. You know, Patrick Robinson, a veteran guy. We have Jalen Mills, a year 2 guy. Rasul Douglas, and then Sidney Jones, who's injured, might not be able to make it for this season, but if he does, we'll see what happens. It's all up in the air with Sidney Jones, so we'll see what happens. Overall, the offseason that the Eagles have had has been a really, really solid one. I'm really happy with the moves that we've made. I'm kind of upset we haven't made some trades with, you know, maybe Jason Kelce or Michael Kendricks, but in the end, I feel like the Eagles really did what they set out to do, making something for the future for Carson Wentz, and all in all, this team looks really solid. I can see them contending this year, maybe in the playoffs, depending on the other teams. Right now, I would be very surprised to see both Dallas and New York back in the playoffs. I see the Giants maybe winning the division, unless if something happens to them. I mean, their defensive line isn't that strong. Secondary is okay. The whole entire defense that they have in New York, pretty solid. Offense got a lot better with Brandon Marshall there. So it's going to be a really tough NFC East, and I cannot wait to see it. I'm hyped up. Tell me what you guys think about the Eagles in the comments down below. My full entire grade for their offseason as of right now, May 16th, 2017, it's a solid, or actually May 17th rather, my apologies. It's a solid B+. It's a B+, nothing more, nothing less. The Eagles did what they had to do. Got some improvements, got what they needed, got some long-term, hopefully soon-to-be playmakers like Sidney Jones, Matt Collins, and getting some veteran guys like Chris Long, LeGarrette Blount really helps out the team and can help out the development of young players. It'll all be awesome to see what happens in the future. So, like I said, tell me in the comments what you think. Subscribe if you're new. I make Eagles videos weekly, daily. It's all up in the air right now. I'm trying to get back into a normal flow, you know, but in the end, subscribe if you want to see more daily Eagles content. Like if you enjoyed, if you agree, all that good stuff. Whatever happens, happens. I'll see you all in the next video. Fly, Eagles, fly. Go Phillies, all that good stuff. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you guys later.